What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a very long time since I have done that intro. It's been a long time since I've actually sat down and made any sort of YouTube content that wasn't on my stream. But as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going over some EWC stuff. I'm going to talk about my potential winner and just go over how I'm feeling in general about the teams heading into the tournament. It is starting on Thursday, if you guys don't know. I believe it starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So West Coast guys, apologize. But I'm just going to go over all the teams, give my general thoughts. There's been some roster changes since champs, and just kind of give an overview of the tournament for those of you guys that haven't been super tapped in. So right off the bat, I think I don't need to deep dive too much here, but I think that it's fair to say that the tournament winners are most likely one of Thieves, FaZe, or Optic. I think I would honestly give them a 33% split down the line. I don't think that one team has a real clear edge over the other. I think that the only thing that you could really say with that regard is Optic is coming off of a tournament win. So I think that you could give them the hot hand, and maybe FaZe is teetering. Most people are kind of in hush whispers of roster changes for the FaZe camp. But in general, I feel like kind of similar to last year, although they bombed out of champs, they show up to EWC and really had a pretty dominant tournament win. So I don't want to just write them off because of, you know, what people are saying. That team can win any tournament at any time. So I'm going to give each one of these guys an equal 33% down the line to win the tournament. If I'm going to pick a winner, I'm going to pick Thieves. Genuinely, no bias whatsoever. I promise. I know you guys are watching this. You're rolling your eyes right now. Genuinely, no bias. My reasoning for this is I feel like, again, no pun intended, Thieves are 0 or 100. Last tournament, they were 0. They had a 0 tournament. I believe it was Major 2. Could cook me in the comments if I'm wrong. When they lost to Boston round 1, I think they got like third that event, third or fourth. But I feel like a good bounce back is on the horizon. I feel like an ego check, an attitude check of a last at champs should have punched them in the mouth a little bit. So I'm going to pick Thieves here on the potential bounce back. I think they most likely play Optic in the finals if I had to pick a team. But I'm going to pick Thieves to win the tournament. I know it's a weird pit. I'm not being biased, I promise. I just think that they have an insane bounce back tournament. Now, obviously, if you guys are living under a rock or if you really just haven't been keeping up, Optic obviously won champs, insane back-to-back, Merc champs MVP. I mean, it was one of the most immaculate season turnarounds in competitive Call of Duty history, let alone the CDL. So, you know, I don't want to spend the whole video talking about Optic's champs run, but it was genuinely insane. They didn't lose a map until finals, so that tells you what you need. So one of these three is going to win the tournament. I am going to pick Thieves. I would be fine with anyone arguing otherwise, as long as it's in these three teams. The next tier, I'm going to put Vancouver and Miami. Now, I know this video is going to be somewhat of a season ranking champs placement style video. Now, the next tier is going to be my potential, I don't want to call them dark horses because Vancouver's been in 3 grand finals, 4 if you count the minor. They're not really dark horse teams, but teams that could be there on Sunday. Teams that could potentially be in a final if one of these S tier teams doesn't show up. Now, Vancouver got second place at champs. They lost 5-3 in finals, and it was a hell of a final. There's a serious argument for them to win the tournament. Obviously, Optic threw some maps, Vancouver threw some maps. It's how finals go. But they were there, and there was a serious argument for them to be able to win the tournament. They've been a consistent team all season, and they've proved me wrong because I thought that their back-to-back finals losses would really start to write them off, maybe creep in a little bit, and they shut me the hell up and just got second at champs. So Vancouver, extremely well-rounded team. I think all 4 of the players on this team have made really good individual strides. Neptune coming into the league as an all-star, Abuza being just honestly the talent that people touted him to be as a rookie. He has maintained that form as well. I think Nasty took massive steps forward this year in terms of consistency as well as leading a lot of their listenings. He is a predominant voice, and I appreciate that as how I ended my career. So I want to give Nasty a little bit of props there, and obviously 0-4. And I think 0-4, like, he's not the flashiest player, but he loves a big time moment, and he's usually making the right play, and I respect that a lot. I think he rises to a lot of these tougher series, and I think that he enjoys playing in the atmosphere of a you gotta have it series, if that makes sense. So obviously Vancouver, insane team, and I don't quite want to put them in S because I just don't know if they have it to beat one of these tournaments or beat one of these S tier teams on their best day in a final. Then we have Miami, who have not made a final this year. They have a handful of third places, but I I'm high on Miami because I think that they're an extremely talented team. They stuck to their guns with the entire Spanish roster composition. And not only has it worked, you could argue that they are flourishing in the league as of right now. Obviously, Black Ops 6 specific, with the addition of Super to their team, Rookie of the Year, Rancor, kind of co-Rookie of the Year, if you guys saw that. They brought each other on stage, which was nice. But this team is great. They're fun to root for. The talent is obviously there. I think Metal's consistency this season still does not get enough gas. He was very hit or miss as a player throughout the majority of his career, but I think the second half of this season, he took major strides in terms of just statistical performances and just the way that he plays the game. Miami's been a great team. They haven't found themselves in a final yet. Do they have the tools? Do they have the talent to be there? Absolutely. But that losers final was really biting them in the ass the last couple of events. So I'm hopeful for Miami. They have the talent to do it, but we just gotta see it come to fruition a little bit. Now we get into some roster change teams, some teams that I think underperform, some teams that could be dark horses. We'll see as we go. The Carolina Royal Ravens are actually not competing at EWC, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them down here. Some weird political stuff. They made too many roster changes. They're not eligible, if you guys didn't know. And next up, we have Boston. Now, Boston actually got third at Champs, and it was off the back of some insanely respectable Neslo performances. They did not win a hard point until their last series of the tournament, actually. They beat Thieves again round one. They seemed to be the round one boogeyman for Thieves. But this team just got third at Champs off the back of 2-3-5, which is obviously respectable in a way. At the same time, you kind of want to take it away from them a little bit. I have been a perennial Boston hater this entire season. So them getting third at Champs, I obviously will give them their flowers. It was a fucking phenomenal tournament, and no one really expected them to do that, myself included. So I'm going to give them their flowers for that. Is it a one-off? Potentially. They've been top 6 for the majority of the season, so I just don't expect them to do it again. Maybe that's just me, again, being a Boston hater as I am. I think this team really overperformed, and they've just been a solid B for Boston mid-pack team all season, and I kind of expect that to... I expect that regression to the mean a little bit if I'm the Boston Breach. Next up, we have C9. C9 actually made a roster change for Gwyn, which I was surprised at because I thought Gwyn would be shackled on Ravens for a very long time, but he actually finds himself on Cloud9 for EWC, and I don't know if this is a long-term thing or if this is just kind of a one-off for EWC or not, but the team is Spark, Gwyn, Kremp, and Sib. Now, the team on paper is very talented. I think they're going to struggle still where they struggled before, which was 2-3-5. They won hard points with their old team, but they struggled in search and they struggled in control. And I don't know if Gwyn, coming from Ravens, who really also was not a great control team, they were good at search, but they also had Slasher, they had TJ. Like, those are very good search players, some of the best ever, actually. But I just don't know if the talent elevation from Cap to Gwyn is really moving the needle much for me personally. It's a fun team to look at. It's a fun team to think about working the way that they do. There's a lot of talent on the team, but I just don't know where their identity is going to be. Finding whether that be a good search team, whether that be a Neslo team like Boston was at Champs, whether that be a dominant hardpoint team. I just don't know if this team is going to be able to find a really reliable identity in a short amount of time at EWC. Maybe they hit a crazy like honeymoon period and they just out talent people. I will say Gwyn probably had hit one of his best tournaments at Champs. I know Ravens got last, but statistically he was making good plays and he was performing relatively well. So it's a fun team to look at and think about, but I just don't know if C9 really does it for me that much. So I'm going to put them like teetering on C. I can't put them on the level of Boston. I'm going to have them in C. Next up, we have Rocker. Now, I am going to immediately put them in C only because they are better than Gentlemates, who will be in D. And they're just not that team. But Rocker, I am out on. This was a team that had every opportunity in the world to qualify for Champs. Now, they ended up losing that Vegas Falcons series, if you guys remember, late in the year for pretty crucial points for Champs. I feel like every time these guys had an opportunity to really get out of their own way, they kind of tripped on their shoelaces a little bit and just couldn't seem to figure it out. They had really no game 5 composure whatsoever all season. I think they played the most game 5s out of any team in the league. And I think they left, I don't know, I don't have the record off the top of my head, but if I had to ballpark it, I think it's around 80 CDL points. I think 8 Game 5 losses were left on the board for the Minnesota Rocker this year. So it's hard to really get behind them because I just don't know what version of the team is going to show up to the tournament. And they've just been extremely inconsistent all year. I'm a fan of their team. I think they're really talented. I think Ken has been really good for them. I think that Gio is disgusting. I think Estriel has been great. Nero is like the most dominant POV you've ever watched in your life, or he's doing legitimately nothing. It's just, I don't know what to expect with Rocker. I don't know what to expect with a lot of the teams underneath of the A tier, to be honest with you, but I just really don't have faith in Rocker to put it together right now. So I was surprised I didn't make any changes either. They're rolling with the same squad, so we'll see what they do, but I'm not really enthusiastic about the team. Next up, we have LAG, the Gentlemates. I'm going to throw them in D. I don't want to spend too much time on them. They've been disappointing to say the least all season. There's been a lot of organizational stuff with them as well. A lot of the management, a lot of the staff of Gentlemates has been on record on stream just kind of criticizing the players, coaching staff. It's kind of rubbed me the wrong way, so I don't want to give them too much time, but the team as a whole underperforming. I'm expecting a completely new revamped team over the offseason here, but I just don't expect them to make a splash. I don't think they're going to get out of groups. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really not expecting anything here. Next up, we have the Toronto Ultra. I'm going to throw them in B tier as well with Boston. Toronto actually made another roster change. They dropped Beans, which Beans now finds himself out of the league. He's on a challenger team, but that deserves an entire another video. But Beans is off the team. They picked up Abe, if you guys remember. Abe was on the Stallions to start the season. He is a challengers player. I've been very high on Abe. I thought that the first time that I played against him, or just really saw what he could do, I kind of knew that he had it. Just the way that he was playing the game and shooting against him, I could tell that he was a league caliber player. And he finds himself as a sub duo for Joe Deceives. Toby's moving to the flex, and Insight obviously still on the team. So I don't know if losing Beans, who was a good talent, although I think the tail end of the season he tapered off a lot statistically, and just he really didn't take the step forward that I would have liked, because I think that this was a really good landing spot for him coming off of all those inconsistent Boston teams. He had that one-off last year at EWC with Ravens. I thought that coming into a more structured spot for Beans to develop more as a player, I wish I saw more this year from him. But unfortunately, he finds himself off the team for Abe, like I said earlier, and I don't know what to expect. It's a fun team to think about because I think Abe is really talented. He's a very fast-paced sub to bump off of Joe, and Toby moving to the flex. It isn't as weird as it seems, because I think Toby has been the player this season for Ultra to use the AR on maps like Red Card or Vault. He is the person that's pulling out that third AR, and he's doing it well. I know the opinion on Toby is obviously that hyper-aggressive, in-your-face SMG, but this season, I actually want to give Toby some flowers. He has taken a different role for this team because Joe kind of just did everything that Toby used to do for this team, and Toby had a real adjustment period. Kleenex, sorry, I have a bad habit of using names, but he had a real adjustment period as a player, again, pulling out that AR, kind of working off of Joe, trying to figure out where he slotted into the team. And he did a lot of stuff this year that he didn't have to do in the past because he was the guy before that Joe was this season. So definitely want to give Toby some gas in that regard. It'll be interesting to see how he plays in the flex role, but I'm excited to see how Toronto does. They're usually a very good place for new talent. Insight and Kleenex, obviously in MW19 when they joined, Scrap for the couple of years that he was in Toronto. They do a really good job of fostering rookie talent or younger talent in general, which is why I was expecting Beans to really elevate his game here. And unfortunately, again, he didn't get the opportunity to past this, and whether he should still be on the team or not, it was in a different video. But I think Abe being here is a great landing spot for him, and I expect good things. Up next, we have the Falcons. They also made a roster change for TJ Halley instead of Priesta. The Royal Ravens, again, not attending. For those of you guys that don't know, they dropped their entire roster other than Slasher. So Falcons now have Tej. Exon is on the flex. It is Pred and Tej sub duo. Exon on the flex. Arcene's on the main. I'm going to put them in D because I don't know what to expect from the team. I think Tej individually, whether this be a product of where they were as a team for the rest of the season, his second half of the year was not even close. He was arguably a top 10 player in the game to start the season, and I think he just kind of trended down the same way that his team did. And I just don't know how much Tej is going to add to the Falcons, nor do I think that this team is going to exist with regard to like their actual 4 players past DWC. I think Falcons is a team that's going to potentially throw a lot of money around. I see Sib coming here over the offseason to potentially form a really high, like that upper end of the mid-pack teams. I think Falcons could definitely do. Maybe there's rumors of a Beasley coming here. I know you guys have most likely seen that. I think Falcons is going to flex their wallet a little bit, so I just don't really see this roster existing past EWC. So could they come up, make a splash? They're in a favorable group. Maybe they could do it. I don't really know what to expect from Falcons. They're a fun team though. Obviously Pred and TJ teaming is hilarious, as you guys know their banter. But I just don't really expect much from the team. So this is what it shakes out to be. It's kind of champs placings with the teams that didn't qualify. Again, event winners for me, guys, are going to be LAT. Genuinely no bias. And I think it's going to be LAT Optic in finals. I don't know how the bracket's obviously going to shake out. I didn't take a look at pools in this video, but if that is a possibility, that is going to be my final. Or FaZe could just win the tournament and keep their team together the same way that they did last year. That happened last year too. So back-to-back bombs out of champs for FaZe. They show up to WC. Maybe they win it again, kick the can down the road. Who knows? So thank you guys for watching, man. Hope you all enjoyed the video. The tournament starts on Thursday, if you guys are watching this video. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be also on Twitch. We're allowed to stream it over on Twitch. We're off of the shackles of YouTube. So hopefully I'll see you guys over there. If not, well, hope you enjoy the video.